Hey, 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 happy Saturday. Don't know where you are, but where I am, it is raining and it's much needed, and we needed a little break from the heat. But somebody who is getting actually more heat is Kouri Richins. She has been hit with 26 new charges. Um, the current charges that she had previously, she had one count aggravated murder for the death of her husband Eric on 3/4/22. One count of attempted aggravated murder, and that was for the murder attempt that she did on Valentine's Day of 22. Three counts of possession of narcotics with intent to distribute for the many times that she solicited drugs from others and then used those drugs to eventually end the life of her husband, and one count of fraud. Her trial has currently, been set for, I think it's February of 2026, so hopefully we'll keep to that. Her new charges are as follows, and these are all out of Summit County, Utah. 5 counts of mortgage fraud, which is a second-degree felony. 5 counts of forgery. That's a third-degree felony. And a lot of those were related to some of the life insurance policies that she took out on Eric without his permission. She, forged his name on those. She also forged his name on the documents for the HELOC loan that she took out against his home, which was protected in their prenuptial agreement. Let's see, we got 7 counts of issuing bad checks. Now, 3 of those are for $5,000 and up, second degree felony. 4 of them are $1,500 to $5,000, which is a third degree felony. Next, we have 7 counts of money laundering. Basically in the banking industry, if you've ever worked at a bank, we consider this, in our terms, check kiting. It's writing a check from one account, depositing it into another account to have funds available in that account, when in fact the account that you wrote it off of already did not have the funds to cover the check. Hush, boo-boo. Hey, hush. One moment, please. We're having a slight issue with, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Crew thinks that every noise he hears outside is, I don't know, maybe aliens, and they're all coming in to take us back to alien land or something. So any little noise he hears, he barks. Sorry about that. Okay, the 7 counts of money laundering. As I was saying, you're writing a check out of an account that does not have funds, and you're depositing that check into another account, usually at another financial institution, and then using those funds before that check can be returned from the original institution for insufficient funds. We call that check kiting. But basically, looks like she had a Navy Federal account. And that's where she had, I believe, the line of credit was. And basically she was, wrote several checks out of the Navy Federal. Some of them would be put into, well, all of them went into her K Realty account. And once she would put the check in there, she would then either transfer the money to electronically pay bills, or she would transfer it to somewhere else, or she would transfer it to her mother, or she would just withdraw the money. So by the time the original check, was returned for insufficient funds, it was no longer retrievable from the account that she deposited into. She also wrote a couple to herself, which is really not a good idea if you're trying to stay out of jail. Now, further, we have 1 count of, this is communications fraud. And this had to deal with the $45,000 that a friend wired to her in the K Richins Realty account, the K Realty account, and it was for a home that she was going to finance for her friend for $490,000. She was going to like do a kind of like a lease to own deal, a long term lease to own, and the $45,000 was the down payment for that, and then the agreement was to make monthly payments of $29,000. And that would have been great and good, but the property that she, was attempting to sell her friend in this owner finance scheme also was not free and clear, as far as any loans were concerned. It was actually, there were several high interest loans against this property, and she attempted to take all of those loans and have them combined into one traditional 30-year mortgage. However, since the most of the loans were already in default, they would not do the traditional mortgage for her, so the home ended up getting foreclosed on. The $45,000 that the friend wired her to the K Richin, the K Realty account, was never able to be given back to the friend as well, because Kouri had transferred that money in a series of payments out of the K Realty account to her personal account and used it for bills and other things, none of which were related to the home at all, so was not recoverable. So that was, basically, that what she, that she frauded one of her good friends for $45,000, and then her friend ended up out on the street, because of the things she was doing. Just sad. And the last count is one count of pattern of unlawful activity. And basically, this is them taking everything that she had done, kind of, starting with her taking out the HELOC loan against Eric's personal home, which was protected in their prenuptial agreement. That was also, one of the forgery charges. But, she took, I believe it was close to $500,000 out against that home, forged his name on the documents, and of course that wasn't paid back. She also was caught altering bank statements in order to get financing for, different loans from different financial institutions. She was taking Eric's bank statements from his business that he was a partner of, C&E Stonemasonry, and she was basically cutting. It was his company's financial information, and then she would cut the top part of her bank statement, tape it onto the top, over the top of his statement, where your address is, the date, the name of your account, the average daily balance is. They usually have a total deposit amount for the month there. But yeah, she was cutting the top of her bank statements off and taping it over the top of his business statements, and was producing those documents to financial institutions, basically, to show them that she would be able to pay back all these loans that she was taking out that she could not ever pay. Yeah, that little, something else that goes a little bit along with that. Also, they found in her phone, they have found all the messages between her and I'm not going to name the people right here. They're like in the documents, and they've probably, if you've watched any of the trial or the hearings, the pre-trial hearings, you've heard their names. But anyway, I'm not going to say them here. But they have found all the messages between herself and a couple of other friends, and another person who supplied the fentanyl that ended her husband's life. Um, and so now they have actual documentation of her obtaining it 2 times, once before the attempt on his life on Valentine's Day, and once before the final dosing, if you will, that took his life. Um, so they have all of that information, as well as, some of the text between her and her mother, where it's very clear that she, her, even though they wouldn't, state it, they were kind of using little code languages, but you could see that there were some texts between her and her mother regarding those actions as well. Let's see. And also, and all of this information that they found had been manually deleted from her phone, and there had also been a lot of information also deleted from Eric's phone. It had been manually deleted. Other things that they found on her phone were those famous, searches that she did, prisons for rich people. She looked up a couple of actual, looked at prisons there, looking on their websites, seeing what they looked at, looked up information about, how much fentanyl it would take to, for a fatal dosage. Yeah, all that. They found all of it. You know, like I said, that's what keeps getting everybody, I don't understand it. We've been able, gosh, for at least the past, I know for at least the past 5 years, we've been able to do complete cell dumps and find anything that you've deleted off your phone, if not 10 years. So I'm really not understanding why these people think that they can, carry out all of this criminal activity on their cell phones. But, with her, she also, in addition to her personal cell phone, she also had several burner cell phones. But instead of, just tossing the burner cell phones, nope, she kept them. So, I don't, I don't know about some people, but it's clearly that this girl, she she was crazy as a Betsy bug to begin with, apparently. Because, she did a lot to try to get the money that she was after. And thank goodness, Eric had the presence of mind to go ahead and make his sister, the administrator of his estate, and the beneficiary of of the life insurance policies that he was aware of, and not her. Thank goodness for that. I just wish that, I wish that we could get rid of all these fentanyl dealers that are running around our streets selling not only our children fentanyl, they're selling adults fentanyl, amongst other things, and any other drugs included. Because these days, you could be buying, wacky weed, and guess what? It could be tainted with fentanyl. So I just wish that something could have happened to have prevented him from, having that one last Moscow Mule, which is another reason why I say, alcohol is not good for you. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your heart. It's terrible for your liver. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you physically. It's not healthy for you mentally or emotionally. And it's not healthy for any of your relationships. So I just wish that, like I said, I wish that could have been prevented. But anyway, but now we know. 26 new charges. We see now why she has been trying to fight so hard, trying to get that case dismissed, because she knew that they were going to find it all, and they did. And so I am grateful for all the work that they did, and I'm going to enjoy watching how that trial progresses, and I'm sorry, hold on just one second. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because it's just not gonna happen this afternoon. Anyways, but like I said, just glad that I could get that out to you. I believe that the Pretty Lies and Alibis, I saw where she had post up about it, and I believe that she has the actual documents, which may have more in depth information. So if you are interested in any more information than what I've given you, like I said, I believe that she actually has the documents. So hop over to Pretty Lies and Alibis and hit up their channel. And just remember, like I always say, have fun, be safe, and always know that you're loved. We will see you later.